detail the tape. For the Strawweight Championship, brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925. Rose Namajunas, 25 years old. Joanna Jedrzejczyk is 30. Joanna, 1 inch taller. Both fighters weighing in at 114 pounds. Slight reach advantage for the former champ, Jedrzejczyk. All right, now for the introductions, we turn it over to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Strawweight Championship of the world. Our 3 judges scoring this contest at Octagon side are Dave Torelli, Glenn Trowbridge, and Chris Lee. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon, Keith Peterson. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a striker holding a professional record, 14 wins, 1 loss. She stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 114 pounds. Fighting out of Olsztyn, Poland, presenting the #1 ranked strawweight contender in the world and the former UFC strawweight champion, the challenger, Joanna Jedrzejczyk. And now introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 8 wins, 3 losses. She stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighing in at 114 pounds. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC strawweight champion of the world, Rose Namajunas!
Walt, you'll be giving your instructions. Any questions? Touch gloves if you like. Let's fight.
Why am I so anxious? I'm not fighting.
Oh my God, I got goosebumps. Bruce Buffer just gave me goosebumps on top of goosebumps.
Craziness, man.
Oh my God.
So this much-hyped Strawweight Championship rematch is upon us. You hear both of these women with a lot of local support here in New York. And we are underway. Tonight's Fight Clock is brought to you by Modelo Especial, brewed with a fighting spirit since 1925.
And with all the craziness that has happened this week, so many people overlooking this fight.
Not me.
Why? We couldn't wait for this thing to get started.
Rose starting off with a jab. Nice leg kick by Joanna.
Exactly how she opened in the first meeting. Mike Brown, the Joanna camp, has talked a lot about extending Namajunas. They feel like the longer this fight goes, the better it will be for them.
That was an interesting aspect of the first fight. It was over so quickly. Jedrzejczyk wasn't able to make adjustments, wasn't able to test Namajunas' cardio. A lot of unanswered questions.
Good exchange there.
I love the way Rose is moving right now.
Yeah, great control of distance and unpredictable in her approach. Moving around left and right and false starts.
What that does, it stifles your opponent's offense. They think, well, maybe if I attack right now, they're not going to be there.
She's got the range and she's very calm here.
Physically, Jedrzejczyk looks outstanding, as good as she's ever looked.
Yeah, she looks much better, and she looked much better getting ready for the weigh-in. I mean, she made a big adjustment in her preparation. And interestingly enough, handled everything herself.
Right.
They both exchanged shots there.
Jedrzejczyk being a little bit more patient in this fight. You know, she got overextended a lot in the first fight. It could be, hey, you come to me. I'm going to wait for you and be ready with the counter strike. Both ladies looking very sharp.
Remarkable all that Namajunas has accomplished, still just 25 years old. Really starting to master Trevor Whitman's intricate striking style.
Yeah, she gets better every time you see her. She just landed a 1-2 right there. She's better every time you see her. And another thing, not just working with Trevor Whitman, but Valentina Shevchenko,
Right.
who's a world-class striker. She's sparring with her on a regular basis, constantly training with Pat Barry. I mean, and she's training at Elevation in Denver, Colorado, which gives her a nice cardio bump.
Right.
Namajunas so far, I love the body language. She's fighting with confidence. Good job with that left hand. And one thing is she's not biting on a lot of Jedrzejczyk's feints. Jedrzejczyk is feinting a lot with the lead hand. It's not really drawing much of a reaction out of Namajunas. She knows when she's out of trouble.
Under 2 minutes in the round, this fight has already lasted longer than the first meeting. Namajunas pressing forward, nothing doing there.
Excellent footwork and movement by both of them. Very nice leg kick there by Joanna. Oh, Rose with the right hand. Oh, another one. And then slides out of the way.
And that was after a stance change. She changed her stance and then attacked. So the power came from the other side. Beautiful stuff.
Joanna a little bit busted up here early, but she has been known to have a pretty good chin, last fight notwithstanding.
And Jedrzejczyk really yet to find her offensive stride.
What Rose is doing very nice is sliding to the side in these exchanges and landing that right hand over the top. See that? Sliding to the side. Always. Never right in front of her.
Namajunas continues to keep that right hand high.
Left hand. And then slides away. She's not there.
No success with the straight jab yet for Jedrzejczyk. That's usually her setup punch. It just hasn't been there.
One of her best weapons.
Yeah.
And just Rose has got weird timing. She's got weird timing and movement. It's very unusual.
And when you're used to setting up the jab, that's where all the rest of your offense comes from. If you can't get that going, it's hard to get the right going, and so far she hasn't.
Oh! Big left for Jedrzejczyk. 5 minutes down. Tonight's Corner Cam is brought to you by Body Armor. Time to ditch your artificial sports drink and switch to Body Armor. More natural, more electrolytes, better sports drink. Grab yours at participating Speedway stores. Body Armor, the official sports drink of the UFC.
Good. Easy then you kick. It's very easy then you kick. You speed move your kick, but don't get too excited to go for combinations, okay? Yeah. Your head move is amazing. But
we're falling a little short with our punches. Let's try to come in with like a 1-1-2. Cover a little more distance, right?
A lot of questions, I think, answered in that first round. How would Rose approach it tactically? She's gone with her stand-up. She's had confidence in her kickboxing. How would she handle it? Mentally, she's been in the center, in the former champion's face, acting like the fighter with the belt. Two important statements in the first 5 minutes. Great 5 minutes by the champ, Rose.
And if you get a look at that last exchange, the ones that Joanna threw, I thought they landed when we were looking at it from here because her back was to us. But Rose's shots landed, and Joanna's face is starting to redden up. Rose is getting the better of the exchanges with a multiple-time world Muay Thai champion. That's just crazy. And that shows how good a coach Trevor Whitman is.
All right, round two here. Namajunas and Jedrzejczyk. Jimmy, you heard... Well, we'll hold that thought for a second after the Namajunas combination, but Mike Brown, Jimmy, feeling like Jedrzejczyk has to cover more distance. Now that patented jab lands.
Yeah, exactly. Push off the feet. That step-in jab. Covering distance with the feet as well as the hands. Can't throw it stationary. Rose has that timing, that distance. She has it in her head fixed so well. Right, exactly out of range.
Rose has got to be careful that she doesn't try for the knockout, that she doesn't try to load up, especially if she gets hit a few times and she starts getting frustrated. Because you got to think that if Joanna can get comfortable and get her rhythm, when you get into the second and third round, that's when it's really going to show. That world-class experience, that championship-level experience, she's been there so many times. How will Rose feel when she starts getting busted up? Right there. That's the timing and distance that Rose has. Very interesting. She's very educated with her footwork and her movements.
She's gotten so good defensively, and again, still a developing fighter in a lot of respects at 25. Now a little gamesmanship from Namajunas.
It's a great message to send to someone who's usually the psychological bully. Hey, dropping my hands, I'm ready for you, I'm not afraid.
Oh, she clipped to the left. And beautiful movement. She is getting the better of these exchanges.
And like you said, Joe, she's not going wild. She's not looking for finish. She's resetting.
Yeah.
Very educated with her approach, even when she's successful. Not a lot of fighters can do that.
A little bit of swelling on the right side of the face of Namajunas. As we go under 3 minutes here in this second round of a possible 5.
Oh, that was a hard leg kick right there. Oh, look at that. Counter left. Oh, fight Rose. Slid right out of the way. Look at that head move.
Beautiful slip. She's unorthodox, but she's tight with her hands, very high. Great combination by Namajunas.
Numbers pretty close overall, but an advantage in the head strikes for Rose Namajunas. She's already landed 22 to Jedrzejczyk's Baker's dozen. Just over 2 minutes here, round 2.
Nice knee to the body there by Joanna.
Stuck her there.
Oh. Referee saying no.
You hear the Namajunas corner calling for her to work the body.
The corner saying she's looking for a way out, Rose.
Finger did get her in the eye. We're seeing a replay right now. Did scrape the eyelid with the finger. But so far, the psychological and tactical advantages, Rose Namajunas. Now, will that hold up for 5 rounds? Remember, a lot of fighting left to go.
Oh, she clipped it with the left. This is crazy. It's so interesting to see her getting the better of these exchanges because we didn't think of her as like this big striker before.
And also, the left hook is what ended the fight last time.
Yes.
You'd imagine Jedrzejczyk would go back to the gym, and that would be her number one priority is taking care of that left hook, and it's been landing all night.
Well, it's possible that she had in her head that that last fight was a fluke, and it was because of her bad weight cut, and that Rose just got lucky. She's finding out now that is not the case. I'm sure she was weakened by the weight cut, but there's more. There's more going on here. She's dealing with a girl who's emerging as a real champion.
My question leading into this fight, did Rose Namajunas have a great fight, or is she a great fighter? So far, she looks like a great fighter.
She looks like a great fighter. Now here's the thing, Rose will do crazy stuff. She will throw up flying arm bars.
Now would be the time to do it. Just a few seconds left.
A few seconds left in the clinch. Using that head.
Nice knee there by the former champ. After she landed an elbow. 10 minutes down.
There's a beautiful combination by Rose. And look at that constant side movement. Look at that left hook. Boom! Right on the chin. And there's a nasty leg kick by Joanna. And here's the eye poke. She's pushing off here. And one finger definitely went into the eye.
High, boom, low. I need this to start happening. Okay, great job. Okay, stay out of the clinch. If you want to time her for a takedown on her attack, that's great. Like once you get her attack, you can do that too. But timing, don't think power. Okay, everything comes from shifting. Hey, stay out of the clinch. Stay out of the clinch. Okay, keep having fun. You having fun? Yeah, get up, show it. Get up, show it. Let's go.
Trevor Whitman, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm telling you, man. The unauthorized reproduction or distribution of this copyright work is illegal and punishable under law. He just maximizes those 60 seconds.
They have a fantastic relationship, too. As a coach and trainer. an athlete. I mean, it's just very cool to see.
And I think he's a calming influence because he's not afraid to be a little bit goofy with her.
Joanna with the glove touch.
Yep. They've been friendly at the end of rounds. There's been a good job kind of mentality that certainly wasn't there at the weigh-in.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of mutual respect going on here. Oh, she clipped her.
Jedrzejczyk smiling that one off.
And I think part of it is Jedrzejczyk coming to the realization, man, she's really good.
Yeah.
She's got my respect. She could have said all day, last one was a fluke, blah, blah, blah. Now, regardless of how this fight turns out, she's in there with a great fighter and she knows it. That's where the respect, I think, is coming from.
I think you're absolutely right.
Just amazing when you think about all those title defenses, all the striking numbers, the accolades for Jedrzejczyk, and at least in this 1+ fight rivalry, she has met her match in some respects.
In a lot of respects, I believe.
Well, you got to go back to Rose losing when, she was younger and she just didn't have this kind of mental strength and all these tough fights that she's had inside the octagon with Karolina Kowalkiewicz. And now you see her here as a champion defending her title at 25 years of age. You're just seeing her emerging as a top talent.
And as you referenced earlier, she's talked a lot about the confidence that training for several camps with Valentina Shevchenko has given her.
Yes.
That's a naturally bigger woman that she has held her own with.
Yeah, that's gigantic. And also a world-class striker. I mean, we saw Valentina against Holly Holm. We saw her against just some of the best in 135. Ooh, right hand over the top. But when she lost to Carla Esparza, go back to that Rose, and there's no resemblance to this Rose.
Now, Jedrzejczyk has done a nice job beating up that lead leg of Rose Namajunas. She has landed a lot of leg kicks. Under 3 minutes now in round 3.
The thing about Jedrzejczyk stylistically is she's generally a combination puncher. She wears you down. She kind of gets your rhythm and timing. She's generally not a one punch totally changes the fight kind of fighter. She usually sets you up with a lot of stuff. That initial stuff, those setup punches, the jab, the lead hook, they aren't working. So the rest of her game is a little bit behind. She's never been a low one punch kind of fighter.
She's landed a nice head kick that was partially blocked and the right hand behind it. You'll want to get confident here.
Yep.
Oh, check that one.
Later tonight, don't miss a complete recap of all the action in Brooklyn on our UFC 223 post-fight show right after the main event on FS1 or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. If you're in Canada, you can find it on TSN.
Oh, back fist.
I'm curious to see if Rose's footwork, her angling, the mobility that's been so effective in this fight stays as good as it has been in rounds 4 and 5. That's a big question.
2 hard leg kicks there from Joanna.
Yeah.
That's going to take a lot of that mobility away.
Trying to put money in the bank.
Yep, chipping away at that left leg.
Now, Namajunas did see a 5th round against Paige Van Zandt before finishing her in the 5th. There was a fight in which she passed her guard 14 times, landed 8 takedowns. So we haven't seen her in as many 25-minute championship fights, but
Joanna's starting to really land leg kicks, and there's another one. And those are brutal. And they're fast, and they're not telegraphed.
You saw in the Moicano fight, once you start seeing that that's a viable option, you've got a good leg kick, you're going to go back to it.
Rose looking for the clinch there and denied. And she's showing that leg kick. She's fainting.
Might be the setup she needs for the rest of her offense. The jab hasn't really been there.
Yeah, that leg kick is changing everything. And as we get into championship rounds, all that money in the bank. Oh!
Beautiful. Well, if you like numbers, at least in terms of these significant strikes unofficially, Jedrzejczyk outlanding Namajunas 68-42. A lot of those leg kicks, but...
Oh, good kick to the body there.
Yeah, I don't think leg kicks get enough credit. They hurt. They are terrible.
Well, they certainly got enough in that last fight.
Good right hand. Oh. The leg kick is setting up the rest of the offense.
There's
her jab.
Yeah, another nice inside leg kick. This is a different round.
Yep.
This round is really changing the shift or the momentum of this fight. And then goes across with the left.
Nice stick and move at the end of the round for Jedrzejczyk.
Deep breaths. Nice job, Jay. Good round.
3, 2, 1. Give him breathe. Very good, Jay. Very good.
Deep
very
breaths. Deep breaths. Doing good.
good. She's low down. The low kicks is slowing her down. Okay? The footwork is amazing. Please. Let's make a boxing now. Okay? Let's make a box. Yes, keep him out.
Long punches. Don't brawl. Don't brawl. Just keep the punches long. Ones and twos.
Very good. Your fence is very good. I want to see the long punches. Okay?
Ready to go forward, right?
Yes. Please, press across, Jay.
She's slowing down. Don't brawl. Don't brawl. You got this one.
Don't forget to double jab.
Joe, you saw Jedrzejczyk trying to work something out in that right foot. She has certainly kicked with it a lot. Not sure if she's dealing with an injury or what.
Yeah, and that was weird too. I mean, when was the last time you saw her get stretched in the corner, or anybody for that matter, get stretched in the corner in between rounds?
But clearly, Mike Brown, they feel like the pendulum is starting to swing. Championship rounds, 4 of a possible 5 here. Namajunas and Jedrzejczyk here in this UFC Strawweight Championship.
Just to button that, looks like she's moving well at the start of this round.
Oh, that was a hard one. Hard inside leg kick by Joanna.
A definite hop in the step of the former champion, and she throws that right foot there. That's a good sign.
Dehydration plays a huge factor in how well you can take a shot. And we've seen Joanna get hit with some good shots in this fight. She's not dehydrated anymore.
Right.
She's got a much better ability to absorb punishment than she did in the first fight. In the first fight, you saw from the very first punches that Rose landed, she looked shook.
Rose has landed some good ones in this fight. And Jedrzejczyk, though, responding well, wearing the damage well. Nice right hand.
There's another nice inside leg kick on the movement. This is the Joanna we knew from before the Rose fight. Nice left to the body. Beautiful left hook to the body in that exchange. She's much more active here and much more sharp.
And there's the confidence of, I've been here before. I've been in these 4- and 5-round fights, and you haven't.
And Rose looks like she's slowing down.
She does.
She looks like she's slowing down, and she looks like her movement is starting to get compromised from those leg kicks.
32 of them and counting.
There's another one. And Rose is not landing any in return. She's not landing her own leg kicks. And she's trying now. Oh, there's a good right hand by Rose.
And then able to land the left hand as she was backing up. 3 minutes now to go in round 4.
I'm curious why Jedrzejczyk might, to see if she goes high with any of these kicks. She has her biting on the leg kick. She expects it low. She expects it low. Go ribs, go head. She hasn't done that yet. We know she can, though.
Yes.
Certainly has the ability.
She went high earlier, and it was blocked.
Yep.
But most of them have been to the legs.
And now that she's gotten her to bite so often on leg kick, going a little bit higher there.
Nice left hand by Jedrzejczyk.
It's going to be very interesting to see how the judges are scoring this, folks.
Yeah. Joanna increasingly starting to put her hands together. Another leg kick lands flush. She's feinting that kick too.
For my money, she's winning these exchanges now, where she wasn't earlier.
And she's catching Rose mid-slide. You saw it with the left hand. As soon as she started moving right, she kind of checked her with the left hook.
Well, Rose is compromised. The movement from those leg kicks is having a big effect, just like we saw in the Moicano-Cater fight.
In rounds 1 and 2, she was able to slide out completely,
Yes.
either left or right, before Jedrzejczyk could react. Now she's kind of getting caught a little bit halfway, a little bit at the end.
She just wobbled.
Yep.
She just ate that leg kick and wobbled. She ate another one there.
Under 90 seconds to go in the round. If we do see the stool, it's going to be very interesting to see what the advice is from Trevor Whitman heading into the 5th and final round.
She's definitely having some issues with that left leg now. Left hand landed.
Much more stationary target than she was in the first 2 rounds.
Right hand there.
Still hit back.
I like how she reset. Very well schooled.
One thing about that low stance and the shifting movement of Namajunas, it's hard to then check. It's hard to then lift that leg off the ground when you're that low and having to slide side to side.
Namajunas appeared to land there. Left hand counter lands for Jedrzejczyk. Loaded up on that left, nothing doing. Wow.
In these hooking exchanges, Jedrzejczyk a little bit wider with her hook. Namajunas pulls in a little bit tighter. That's been the key to it.
Oh.
Great one.
20 minutes down, 5 to go.
When you're being loose, it's landing. Look at her eyeball, it's closing. Every time you snap in towels, it's landing and it's working. Believe in it. Just trust it.
Look at me. You having fun? Keep having fun. You fight for purpose. Okay? Go out there, have fun. Okay? I want you keeping your feet moving, but I want you to have fun. You go in here and you throw combinations and you believe in it, but keep them short. Just land. Not
Up the middle.
You got this. Yeah. I want you to have fun this round. That's what champions do. Who cares, man?
Take your time. Take your time.
That's a cramping issue.
I wonder what's going on with her legs, because something's happening, obviously, where she needs to stretch out in between rounds. Her right eye is what concerns me. That's closing up a lot. Oh, they want a hug. She wants a hug. Rose's left hook has been closing the right eye of Jedrzejczyk.
Fifth and final round.
Sorry, it makes it more difficult for her to see that left hand.
You guys thinking 2-2? Just glad you're not a judge, or what?
I'm glad I'm not a judge, but if I were, probably 2-2.
I wish Jimmy was a judge. He'd be a great judge.
He would be.
Thanks,
Damn
guys.
fine judge.
Appreciate that.
There's a lot of judges that suck.
So many people disagree with me.
Well, those people are idiots.
One of the more significant left hands from Namajunas in the fight. Jedrzejczyk able to eat it.
It's been her money punch throughout her 2 fights with Jedrzejczyk. That left hook, tight, accurate.
And you do wonder the extent to which the vision is compromised in that right eye. Nice jab, or straight right, I should say, from Namajunas.
Namajunas with some good hands in this 5th and final round. Oh, beautiful jab. And beautiful slide away to avoid the counter.
Standing her ground and throwing a bit more in this round.
Oh!
And Rose showing off a pretty good chin in her
right
own
hand. She stung her with that right hand. Right on the nose.
Yeah, man.
Joanna's having problems with that nose right now.
Yeah.
Look at it.
I think the leg kicks have limited her mobility, so she's standing and throwing a lot more punches.
I think she's also trying to take her out.
Yep.
Knowing that it's the 5th and final round, she could dig in.
Jedrzejczyk is
She stepped
busted
in with an
up.
elbow.
Rose Namajunas has never been knocked out before. In 11 pro fights coming in, and she has really taken control of the first 2 minutes of this 5th round.
Lead uppercut was beautiful. Right in the eye of the storm, she is completely calm. Talk about mental strength. Rose Namajunas has it.
And clearly Pat Barry and Trevor Whitman know which buttons to push. Inside leg kick again is there for Jedrzejczyk.
Rose is standing right in front of her now and is a much more hittable target.
Nice stick with the right hand for Joanna.
You have to wonder, I mean, she's had trouble with her accuracy in her 2 fights with Namajunas, and that eye closed, that messes with your ability to, with your depth perception. Rose Namajunas leading the dance in this 5th and final round.
Yeah, really impressive.
Yeah.
Well, she's got to think this is an incredibly close fight. I mean, this has been most of this fight. 0 on the ground.
Right. Just 1 takedown attempt for Namajunas.
But a great tactical change. I mean, she's not trying to slide out and set it up with angles. She's throwing heavy punches and catching Jedrzejczyk coming in.
And some of those offerings from Jedrzejczyk are landing, but again, Namajunas just so sage and sound defensively and getting that guard up. Crowd getting behind these 2 strawweights here. What a display of skill and heart from the 2 best 115-pound fighters in the world.
And they are proving that they look fantastic tonight. Both of these ladies look extremely sharp. Rose Namajunas and Jedrzejczyk, beautiful.
It is amazing that Rose is getting the better of these exchanges. And that she's the one who's slipping and moving better. Much better head movement. Joanna's just sort of throwing and ducking her head down. Rose is moving off the center line. She's got a badly bruised left leg, though.
I think that led to that change in this 5th round where she's sliding a little bit less and throwing a lot more.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Takedown. Front row.
Big.
That is huge.
We'll see if Namajunas can keep Jedrzejczyk down for the balance of this fight. Pop shots from Joanna.
Tenacious to the end.
So the rematch goes the distance.
Wow.
Front
What a
rows
fight.
Namajunas and Joanna Jedrzejczyk
What a fight.
with a lot of mutual respect.
And what a close fight.
2 champions in there right now, for sure.
Legitimately.
One has to walk out with the belt, but both of them fought like champions tonight. This crowd on its feet.
And perhaps at some point, these 2 women could fight for a 3rd time. Jimmy, here are some of the highlights.
And I would love to see it back and forth. Rose Namajunas early in this fight, beautiful movement, beautiful left hooks, great combinations, great aggression. And then in the middle rounds, Jedrzejczyk coming back. Her offense based on the leg kicks, but getting her combinations going. Great stuff from the outside. But in the final round, Rose Namajunas showing that championship heart, stepping forward, really taking it to Jedrzejczyk and battering her right eye, closing up. And to ice the round, look at this beautiful outside trip. And both fighters, so much emotion leading into this fight, and they let it all out. Great treat for the fans. 2 champions.
And that was a great way to punctuate that 5th and final round for Rose Namajunas. The numbers tell you Joanna Jedrzejczyk got a lot done in this fight in terms of the significant strikes landed, outlanding Rose 132 to 84, but largely looked like a 3-2, at least for Namajunas to me.
Yeah, it certainly did to me, but significant, then there's significant. Look at the face of Jedrzejczyk, that left hook, accurate, powerful all night. And it was the punch that won her the first fight, and yet she went back to it over and over again and was even better with it, I think, in this 2nd fight.
Now Rose Namajunas, karate, taekwondo black belt. She's been a martial artist since 5 years old. Some pretty outstanding striker. All right, the official decision brought to you by Metro PCS, bringing you closer than ever to the UFC on a fast nationwide LTE network. Now with that decision, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All three judges scored this contest 49-46 for the winner by unanimous decision, and still the undisputed UFC strawweight champion of the world, Thug Rose Namajunas.
I'm here with the winner and still champion, Rose Namajunas. What a fight! Rose, what a fight! Please tell me, what are your thoughts on that fight?
I'm sorry it wasn't as technical this time, but I was feeling a little heavy this time, but it was still good. I pulled through.
It was very technical. Don't go beat down on yourself at all. It was amazing movement. You landed some big shots, but what was most impressive, you won a kickboxing fight with one of the very best kickboxers to ever fight in MMA.
Yeah, she was right. That weight cut kind of did mess her up the first time, but I'm just better, man.
Better and getting better constantly. One thing that was happening in this fight was she made an adjustment and started attacking your leg. How much of that effect did that have on you?
You know, it was definitely, I feel like I could have been lighter on my feet this time, but it wasn't. I got Pat Barry, the best slow kicker in the game, that kicks me all the time, so it's nothing.
Rose, I want you to enjoy this. You are a true champion. There is no doubt about it. The first fight was absolutely not a fluke. You won again. Congratulations. It was an honor to call your fight. Rose Namajunas, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that's a great point. When Pat Barry's chucking kicks at your leg, I guess you can take him from a fellow strawweight. That post-fight interview brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Play the free trial now and become the GOAT. Download now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
A crossroads fight. Was she really as good as she was in the first fight with Jedrzejczyk? Yes, I think she's even better. She looks
better, but
fantastic.
I think Joanna was better. I think that's the difference. Joanna made the adjustment. I think Rose got better. And I think under Trevor Whitman, with Pat Barry, with Valentina Shevchenko, and that insane crew they have over there, she's going to keep getting better. She's 25 years old.
Amazing.
This girl isn't even close to her prime. She's 5-6 years away from her athletic prime.